friends. This is Rainy. This is Rainy Day Reads, and I'm in front of my new background. Ooh, isn't it pretty? I actually really think I like this new filming setup, not just because of the books, but because I can wear my glasses and there's no glare from the window. At least I don't think so, because I'm not actually looking at myself right now. But I looked at myself before filming and there didn't seem to be any glare. So hopefully that is still the case. But anyway, I am a day late in my schedule to put up my War and Peace Volume 2 update. But that was just because I didn't feel like filming last night, and I really didn't think you guys would care. So I am actually off work today, so I am doing a bunch of filming and some other random things. So, so yeah, I felt like this would be a better day to do this than yesterday in the evening when I was tired and there was no natural light. So, apologies for being late if you really did care about something like that, but I figured you guys would be understanding. Let's talk about Volume 2 of War and Peace. I really, really liked this section. Um, if you watched my last update for Volume 1, you know that I said that I definitely enjoyed the peace parts more than the war parts, which, I knew that I would like more. I mean, I'm not a big battle scenes kind of person. I don't appreciate as much as I should Two Towers of Lord of the Rings because it's mostly war and just pretty much anything that has extensive battle scenes I am really bored by. So this volume 2 was more of the family drama uh, peace peace parts of the novel. So I read somewhere, probably on Wikipedia, because I mean, don't we all get our information from Wikipedia, that Tolstoy actually doesn't consider this a novel because there's so much involved. And or I say this like Tolstoy's still alive. But I mean, I'm going to consider it a novel. I mean, it's fictionalized. It follows a plot. It's a novel. But the the peace parts and the family drama parts of War and Peace are so much like a soap opera. It is hilarious. I honestly didn't think that I would think the characters were as funny as I find them to be. They are so ridiculous at times. Um, there's really not a whole lot of or many characters that like feel like regular normal people. They all are like somehow over the top. And in volume 2, we get a lot of that. We are finally starting to get more into the personalities of the characters and their plot developments. And it was just hilarious sometimes. The most hilarious person I find in this novel is Pierre. And and there will be a lot of spoilers probably in this, so just so you know. In this section, Pierre is married to a woman that he does not really love, or he doesn't love her at all. And I guess she's kind of a, what's the word? Well, she's a flirt, to put it mildly, because I'm not sure that it ever really um, proves one way or the other if she cheated on Pierre. But he does think that she cheated on him, and that was the end of volume 1, I believe, where he had a duel with the guy that he believed his wife was having an affair with. So, but in this section, he has now left his wife and is living in St. Petersburg, I believe. And he is drinking and doing, roguish things like he always used to do. And then he meets a Mason who converts him to Christianity. Um, and they, at least it's a particular brand of Christianity. And the initiation process that he has to go through in this is, it probably isn't supposed to be funny, but it was to me, because a club that I was in college did something similar to this for our initiation into the club. I mean, it was very mild mannered and lighthearted, but we were blindfolded and taken on a journey, let's just say. and and so is Pierre with this Mason initiation. And I just read this the whole time and just laughed because I just was remembering what I went through with that. And thank goodness that some of the things that he has to go through did not happen in our initiation. But still, like being blindfolded part was really funny to me. And then after this, Pierre just, like a lot of people do when they find their religion or find their purpose, they can tend to go a little overboard at first with that, and he definitely does. He goes back to his wife for a while, but he doesn't live with her as her husband, if you get my drift. And he has a lot of dreams and like God speaking to him, kind of a thing. And he eventually does leave again and goes back to St. Petersburg, and then we kind of move away from him, sort of. But that was just that was probably my most enjoyable part of volume 2, was Pierre and his conversion and his subsequent antics after he becomes a Mason, and how he kind of interpreted what being a Mason, being a Christian, was supposed to mean. And he tries to convert Andre, and at this point, and here's another spoiler, which was a sad thing for me, Andre's wife, Lise, dies in childbirth at the probably around the beginning of volume 2. And I had been spoiled for that. I knew it was coming, but it was still really, really, really sad. And I am reading this with Tara from Buzzword Books, and she did not know that that was coming. And she messaged me whenever that happened. She's like, "Oh my gosh, that was so sad. I can't believe he died," or she died. And it was really sad because Lise, she was probably, I don't remember what they said her age was, but she was probably still a teenager at the time when she died. And the scene in which Andre sees her right after she dies is really heartbreaking, and it really flipped a switch for Andre, which I liked. As far as, I mean, he gets really depressed, and that's not something that I like, obviously, but he gets depressed, I think, because he realizes how he wasted his wife's life by being away from her, and basically by getting her pregnant when he didn't really love her. And he does feel like it's his fault that she died and that he is left with his child, and she is not there to raise him. His sister Maria is raising the baby now. And that was another thing that I liked, that was kind of a result of this tragedy, was Andre and Maria, his sister. They seem to have a bonding moment when Andre's son is sick, and Maria has been taking care of him, and she kind of rejects that the idea of what Andre wants to do to try to heal him, and but she relents and gives him the parental right to do what he needs to do, and it ends up working. But there was just a really kind of brief but touching scene where the two of them look at each other and realize that his son is going to make it, and they kind of bond over kind of each being the parent of this child, and it was very sweet. I enjoyed that, just kind of little snippet scene. But I'm gonna put this down because it's heavy. But Andre, he really kind of evolves, I believe, in after the death of his wife. But it's not always a good evolution. He obviously gets very depressed. He doesn't think that his life is worth anything, and he kind of goes off the deep end for a while and becomes a recluse and just becomes very morose, and which I understand that happens when you're depressed. But Pierre comes in and tries to convert him to Christianity, and it doesn't really go well, and there's kind of a philosophical discussion between the two of them. And I felt that was really real, because when people are going through that, or when they're trying to find themselves and what the meaning is of their lives, sometimes when somebody comes at them with something, whether it's good or bad, as a way to fix their problems or their mental state, it's not going to be well received, and that makes sense. Like, it's not going to a change isn't going to happen overnight, but sometimes a traumatic thing can make a change right away. So I felt that was really real. so yeah, I felt like this was a very, very good volume of this book. The characters I felt were really fleshed out. The one thing that I would say that I do not like about the book so far is I cannot stand Natasha. She is such a flighty, whiny little child, and she is a child technically. She starts out the novel, I think, and she's only like 12 or 13, and by the end of volume 2 she is 16 and betrothed to Andre, from a series of events, unfortunate or not. She is betrothed to him, but she is now waffling, and Anatole, who is a rogue, comes back into the picture and turns her head. So she, after just a couple of meetings with Anatole, believes she loves him and is going to reject Andre. and yes, that happens in these type of books, but she is just such a whiny little thing. Oh my gosh. It's ridiculous. Like, oh, she's just constantly crying and constantly being over dramatic about every little thing. But yeah, so I really do not like her. And I kind of feel like I do not like the portrayal of women in this entire book. I think this is the only thing I've ever read by Tolstoy, so I cannot say if his portrayal of women is always this bad, but there's really not a single woman in this novel that I really am rooting for. I would say probably the closest I have is Maria, because she is kind of considered to be plain and unmarriageable, and she's very pious, and she's very, very Christian, and she doesn't want to leave her father, even though he abuses her basically. And so I like her, because I feel for her, but she also she needs some more backbone. And so I kind of feel like all of Tolstoy's female characters are either whiny little babies, flirtatious, and shallow, or overly pious with like no backbone, no wiggle room for anything. So, which, to be fair, even his male characters are over the top, and I think the two people that have the most character development at this point are Andre and Pierre, in which they are the main characters, so I guess that works. But Natasha is supposed to be a main character too, and I feel like she has had zippo character development in like 600 pages that I've read so far. So she has just stayed what she was at 13 is what she is at 16. And I realize that's only 3 years, but if you're old enough to get engaged, which they were back then, you should be a little bit more mature. So, but, and then of course I didn't like that Lise died, but she was, I understand why she needed to go because that catapulted Andre into his next character development and the next plot development with Natasha. So yeah, as you can see, I really enjoyed the second volume of this book, and there was only a little bit of war in volume 2, and it didn't really last very long, and I don't really remember much about the war parts of it. So I don't know if I just wasn't really listening or if they, don't really, those sections didn't really matter. But this was definitely more family drama, romance triangle heavy in volume 2, which I really appreciated. So yeah, that is my hopefully quick little review of volume 2. Let me know if you are joining me and Tara in our little read along, buddy read action of War and Peace, what you thought of volume 2, what were your favorite parts, what were your least favorite parts, and yeah, if you're just enjoying the reading experience. If you have already read War and Peace, what did you think of Natasha? And does she get any better, or does she continue to be a whiny little baby? But don't spoil anything, but just I want to know, like, is she gonna be somebody I want to root for, or am I just gonna be like, good gosh, people, you could do so much better than Natasha? So yes, let me know what you think, and let me know what you think of my new background. I'm very excited about it, quite frankly. I like how it looks in my videos so far. So it still needs some organization, but I was just kind of throwing things up there to get them off of my floor, so nothing's really too organized. Although this shelf here I am using as all of my like pretty books that I like, my collectibles. So, but yeah. So, all right, I'm gonna go because now I'm just rambling about nothing. So, all right, friends, I hope you have a great weekend and a great end to January, and I will see you in February. Talk to you later. Bye.